Next, we move on to a spotlight keynote on the topic, Role of Technology in Digitizing Pharmaceutical. This session would cover supply chain and operations, smart factories, vaccine research, and go-to-market. Our speaker is Pam Cheng, Executive President, Operations and IT AstraZeneca. Pam is a biopharmaceutical executive with a global career spanning manufacturing, operations, pharmaceutical development, supply chain, and logistics, commercial operations, and information technology. So it's over to you, Pam. Take it away.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Pam Cheng, and I'm the head of global operations and IT at AstraZeneca. And I am delighted to have the opportunity to connect with you today. Now, I'm going to start my conversation today with the terminology digital transformation. Perhaps these two words were the most used across the industries, and it's probably the most common theme across company strategies today. Every company has it, every company talks about it, but not every company does it. Digital transformation is the integration of digital technologies and data into all areas of a business, fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to the customer. In our case, the patients. So why is it so hard? I mean, perhaps in our opinion, the hardest part is the people piece, the culture shift on ways of working and ways of thinking. We see companies that does digital for digital's sake. We also see companies adopting flavor of the month, flavor of the year approach to technology. At AstraZeneca Global Operations, we are going from talking digital to being digital and doing digital. But we have two simple rules. First and foremost, they must be solving real problems. I mean, this is not doing it because the technology is great, the digital is savvy, but it really must be solving real problems or making things better. Secondly, they must be bringing measurable value. Does it bring value to the patient? Does it bring value to the stakeholders? Does it bring value to the company? So we abide by these two simple rules in everything we do in digital. We understand that digital transformation doesn't really happen overnight, and we must build the building blocks one at a time. And that's exactly what we have done over the past couple of years and what we are doing now. Now, we have a global manufacturing and supply network of 25 manufacturing facilities. We needed a network approach when it comes to digital transformation, an approach that kind of allow us to think big and scale without spending a fortune and taking forever to do so. So we adapted the design thinking framework that I'm sure most of you are familiar with, where we start with thinking big, dreaming big, right? You know, all ideas are welcome in solving a particular problem or particular set of problems. Then we start small using the digital lighthouse concept, where we would take 1 to 2 facilities within our supply network and say, you know what, let's conduct the proof of concept. You know, once it's proven, we scale fast across our network where it's relevant and drives value. Conversely, if it doesn't work, we then take the approach where we kill the project fast, and that's a win as well for the company. So we never lose sight of the fact that, you know, digital transformation is it's really 90% of it about people and 10% about technology. I'm sure you all heard about that. We have 15,000 plus colleagues in global operations, which is manufacturing and supply chain as AstraZeneca. So how do we change the way we work and think? You know, all 15,000 plus of us. It's not an easy task. For those of you who's gone through it, it's really much more complicated in reality than just going digital, just implementing the tools, implementing the solution. It's really about taking it one step at a time and making sure that we are being intentional around that culture shift, around training. A simple example is when we went from paper to digital, when we implemented electronic batch records, for example, bringing our shop floor colleagues on board using digital mediums after, let's say, 20 or 30 years of, working using paper was not a small challenge. You might think about, how difficult is it to go from paper to a touch panel. It's much more complicated than you can imagine. So, it really is important to keep thinking that people element as we think about digital transformation. Now, perhaps a unique component of digital transformation within AstraZeneca is what we call the convergence of lean and digital. Lean is the core of our operational excellence, where we relentlessly eliminate waste and simplifying the way we work and standardize our business processes. And I'm sure, again, this is nothing new to many of you. Now, having this operational excellence foundation, though, becomes much more powerful when we build digital transformation on top of it. So imagine when we don't have lean, when we are not working in lean ways, we are digitizing waste, right? But now with the lean foundation, we are digitizing lean processes and lean ways of thinking and lean ways of working. So imagine the power of AI and machine learning and real-time data when our workforce and processes are already lean. And in such cases, our staff is creating much more value across our value chain. So this is something that we've sort of driven the shift in our mindsets of our staff, where we really want to converge that lean, that operational excellence that we've worked so hard with and continuing on a journey with, on top of that digital transformation that we are implementing now. Now, I'm often asked about, what we mean by smart factory, which is our tagline for digital transformation within global operations at AstraZeneca. When do you know the factory is smart? What do you mean by smart factory, for example? And I find, we put this picture together, and I really do believe it explains it quite a bit. It's not magic. There's no silver bullet. It's really one building block at a time, as I have mentioned. Our smart factory program is really focused on creating a standardized set of digital solutions that connects our people, our product, and our processes. And once they are scaled across our operations network, these digital solutions really will enable us to address key business challenges, increase efficiency, and eliminate waste across our entire value chain. Now, for us, it's not about just doing digital for digital's sake, as I said. It's about being digital in a way that enables us to deliver more medicines to more patients and more quickly. So we are working on multiple technology fronts, but they all must bring value to our value chain. So to give you a few examples, we're working on advanced and predictive analytics to optimize our manufacturing processes, our syntheses, and to increase yield of our product. We are using cognitive vision tools to use AI to monitor our shop floor and monitor our processes real time, where we can intervene should there be a situation that warrants that. We are using virtual reality for aseptic training. So in the past, to do sterile training, aseptic training, we would have to shut down the sterile core, let's say the manufacturing facility, and bring our operators and our manufacturing staff in there to do the training, which, obviously have safety concerns and have causes downtime for our facility. Now, using that virtual reality technology, we are doing that really outside of the sterile core. And we really, from a safety perspective and efficiency and effectiveness, it really is much better all around. We are creating real-time digital dashboards across our shop floors and in our labs as well. So the examples goes on, and the application are quite endless, to be honest with you. So we take quite a bit of time and effort to make sure that we prioritize and we focus on the critical few that truly adds value to our business, if you will. Now, how do we know when one of our manufacturing facility is quote unquote smart factory? And I go back to the building blocks that I talked about. We've got about a dozen of building blocks. These are core technologies, digital technologies that we want to drive the application across on our shop floor. And we determine, and as we sort of on our journey, each of the facility on our journey to implement these building blocks, at some point you pass that critical path, and we would be able to qualify a facility as what we call the smart factory, connected factory, if you will. As I'm talking to you in India today, it really would be remiss of me not to mention the important role in our Chennai Global Technology Center, who's playing really a key role in our digital transformation. Everything that I've talked about in our smart factories and digital transformation in R&D, in commercial, for example, enabling units. We've established the GTC in 2014 now, and our Chennai GTC is home to roughly 2,600 colleagues, and it is one of the largest pharmaceutical hubs for digital innovation and excellence. The GTC supports our global teams across the value chain, as I said, including R&D, operations, and commercial, helping to really accelerate processes that leverages technology and digital. Now, they have also played a pivotal role during the pandemic in the development of our COVID-19 vaccine, which I will speak of in a moment. Innovation is at the heart of what they do. And in line with this, they have formed strong partnerships with academia, startups, and government through our India Health Innovation Hub to advance future-focused digital solutions. In common with all of our locations around the world, our biggest asset are our people. 80% of our employees in Chennai have STEM-related background and degree, with over 90% being Gen Y and Gen Z. We are also very proud of our external recognitions the team has received from prestigious institutions such as NASSCOM for its innovation, technology capabilities, and collaboration, as well as, of course, the fact that we have been certified as a great place to work for 4 years in a row, and recognized as one of the top 100 companies for women in India. So overall, AstraZeneca is really on a great journey in terms of digital transformation, particularly within my shop in global operations, which includes manufacturing and supply chain globally. And we couldn't have done it without GTC support and the people at the GTC helping us to innovate and to apply these technologies. Now, let me shift the gear and talk about lean and digital, the role that they have played in the fight against COVID-19. This is something that I 2 years into it, I get a bit of emotions every time I speak of it. And actually, one of our partners, Serum Institute of India, it plays a huge role in this journey with us. So today, we have delivered more than 2.5 billion doses of our COVID-19 vaccine. They are supplied to over 170 countries, and 2/3 of which are to low middle income and low income countries. We understand the notion that none of us are safe until all of us are safe. So we needed to make sure, and we set the ambition from the very beginning that we would have broad and equitable access of our vaccines globally. Now, we develop, for those of you who are familiar with vaccine business, it typically takes years to develop a vaccine, to commercialize a vaccine. I would say, let's say 8 to 10 years. Well, for COVID-19, we developed it in 8 months, not because we took shortcuts, not because we rushed through the steps. It really is because of the heroic effort of thousands of colleagues within AstraZeneca and at our partners like SII, for example, who really put their lives on hold to be able to do this because we knew that we were going to be saving lives. So 8 months from development to first commercial dose. In my 30 years of career, never done it before, never would have believed that this is possible, but we've done it. And we've done it with lean and digital because across the 25 manufacturing partners in over 15 countries, it was in the middle of a pandemic. We couldn't travel. We couldn't send our engineers and our scientists as readily, easily as we could have before COVID. So we use quite a bit of digital technology. A lot of the tech transfers were done virtually, using smart cameras, using virtual reality. A lot of the conversations were had through digital means, for example, and we worked together for months on end through the digital technology to make this happen. So lean and digital were front and center, and we were deploying that in our fight against COVID-19. And one of the things that I will be remiss not to mention is that during the pandemic, we supplied our COVID-19 vaccines at no profit. And this is something we believe that was our role to play to ensure that we play our role during this unprecedented threat to humanity. Now, if you look, this is a third-party tracking sheet of the total vaccine supply around the world. And I believe this data is excuse me, is back in the end of 2021. As you can see here, the dark blue line is AZ-1222, which is AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine. As of end of 2021, we were the most supply vaccine in the world, something that we feel enormously proud, something that our GTC in India feels enormously proud of supporting, and something that our partners around the world, including SSII, feels incredibly proud of. Now, if you look at the future, you look forward to the future, and I think we all can say the future is certainly going to be uncertain. But I think innovation and technology will continue to be key to success, right? We see data and digital technologies transforming the way we work, the way we do science in AstraZeneca, the way we develop and deliver medicines to patients. And I see firsthand the astonishing results from extraordinary human efforts when there's a common mission. Over the past 2 years, hundreds of colleagues I work with within AstraZeneca, and I see hundreds of more across our partner network, have literally put their lives on hold. They put their life on hold to make a difference in this global pandemic. And for me to see the astonishing result with extraordinary efforts from so many. And innovation and technology in the fight against this unprecedented threat to humanity absolutely play a role front and center in terms of what we can do at a time of threat. So with that, I will leave you with my last slide, which is I encourage you and challenge you to think about our collective task moving forward. How do we apply the innovations and the technologies to other global health challenges, including the climate crisis, that will set the planet on a healthier and a more sustainable path? So thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you for that enlightening keynote, Pam. Digital will spur growth and innovation in the pharmaceutical industry, creating unprecedented changes in the way we look at medical solutions in the near future. Riding the convergence tide, processes, data, technology, and cross industries.